AskReddit asks, cops of Reddit, what is the most stupid criminal you have ever met?
Old roommate is a cop. He came home to tell me an ATM was robbed, after hours, for $15. $240. The next day the man who robbed the ATM deposited $15. $240 into his personal account at the bank he robbed the night prior.
That is interesting because the bank would have had to file a currency transaction report for that large of a cash transaction, and he likely had to make up a stupid reason for having that much cash. Probably didn't expect that.
I don't believe you. If I'm a 911 dispatcher, in Florida. Sometimes confused or drunk people knock on the wrong door or try to get into a house thinking it's theirs. But it isn't. It's an honest mistake, but the homeowner is rightfully very afraid, thinking they are about to be robbed or worse. Well, I had this kid, must have been in his early 20s and clearly stoned, call me going absolutely crazy that someone is trying to kill him and take his property and rape his girlfriend, blah blah blah. I send units code 3 to this guy thinking it's a burglary in progress. Turns out the guy ordered a pizza and forgot about it. Scared the delivery guy half to death. Yay man. To be honest, some people's brains react fucking berserkly to weed. Unless it wasn't weed.
I knew a guy who got busted selling weed. He went to his hearing at the court, and went through the metal detector, with an Altoid tin full of ecstasy pills in his pocket. It set off the metal detector. Sheriff's deputies searched him, found the pills, and arrested him on the spot.
Have a family member that worked in the court system. The amount of people that come in either carrying or completely out of their minds on drugs is shocking.
He probably thought he had double jeopardy. Well, if he knew what double jeopardy was.
My mom's cousin was a bank robber. The time he got caught, he went into a bank, scoped the place out, left to go back to his bike. This MF robbed banks on a fucking bike. He put the mask on, robbed the bank. Police see the tape, see that bank robber was wearing same exact clothes as guy who left less than a minute before. AAANNDDDD, that was that. Edit. By bike I mean bicycle.
Note to self, police won't catch me if I change clothes first.
My ex stole a car and went to pick up his friend at the police station in the stolen car. He parked right in front of a cop. The cop ran the plates and escorted him into the building. Next day, he was on the news as the most stupid criminal in town. Edit. A lot of people are asking me why I dated him. Well, he never told me that. One day, I decided to Google his name and I found the article. Learn from me, ladies and gentlemen. Google your partner's name. You never know what they are hiding. And yes, best thing I did was break up with him. Mistakes were made.
Should have hit the pay-in spray first. Took a vehicle burglary report where the victim found a driver's license sitting on her driver's seat that the suspect must have left behind. Seems damning, but if he had any criminal smarts he would just say his license was stolen and the thief must have dropped it while breaking into this new victim's vehicle. Without any other evidence.
The case would have gone nowhere. The next day I take a report at a church that was a couple of blocks away from the vehicle burglary. This guy stole the video cameras from the building.
He must have thought the footage came with the camera, because when we checked the video,
there was a high-def close-up of the suspect's face as he removed the camera.
Good evidence. Sure, but I still didn't know who the guy was, until I looked at the license I collected the day prior and saw it was the same exact guy.
Some jackass that robbed my grandmother's house did the same thing. He stole the front door camera. We have video of him doing it.
Every day I see a big black SUV with sheriff written on the side parked in the driveway across the street. I don't know if the guy is the sheriff or works for the sheriff, but one night I wake up to a dozen sirens outside. Turns out some idiot tried breaking into Sheriff Dude's house while he was home and his vehicle was right freaking there.
There must be some good stuff in that house. I bet no one's tried to break into that house before because the sheriff's truck is parked outside and no one's as smart as me to realize that the sheriff lives at the police station and this is a trick to stop less smart people from breaking in.
He's probably just a sheriff deputy. That's the lowest rank, so it's most common. Google who your county sheriff is. You should be able to find it on their website and see if your neighbor is the sheriff or not.
My dad is a cop. And I remember that he called me one night and said that he wanted to tell me how glad he was that I'm not as stupid as the guy he arrested that night. An idiot high schooler was caught stealing alcohol after his fake ID was rejected. His fake ID said he was born in 2001. 3 years younger than he actually was. Poor guy couldn't work out why his ID didn't work. My dad recommended that he pay better attention in math class.
Make the number bigger.
One of my finest moments was when I drunkenly gave a cop a fake ID and then I said, "Wait. Can I have that one back?" And he was like, "That one? Ha ha, no."
But it says 21C. Points at 2001.
Can't go into too much detail. But kid, 14, shot another kid, 15, in the leg after a fight in their apartment complex. The victim is able to describe the gun the shooter used in detail. We get shooter's name from another kid who knows him from school. My partner looks up his Instagram and would you believe it? There he is posing with the gun described to us exactly. Social media is a treasure trove of wannabe gangsters incriminating themselves. Edit. Fixed my drunk ass words. Let's be honest, if people knew how to not brag about the illegal shit they do, arrest rates would be cut in half.
What happened to the kid who shot the other kid?
Went to a job of 2 males attempting to break into a car. Job description said they had been at it for at least an hour. Got there and the car was theirs. They had apparently locked themselves out. Checks confirmed it did belong to one of the person's mum. On their person was stolen mail and heaps of phones and new stuff in boxes in the car, so they got arrested for theft anyway. Ended up that the driver's door they had been trying to break into was the only locked door out of the 4. Was unlocked everywhere else the whole time they were there. Edit. Mail turned out to be junk mail and a wedding invitation.
Stolen mail RO.
Teen gets fired from Red Lobster. Returns to rob same rest errand that night. They refuse to give him money from register, so he grabs charity coin box, muscular dystrophy or similar, and then he leaves on bicycle. I go to find him and see coins scattered about. Follow trail off same, which leads me to him hiding in bushes at a church. Bicycle was leaning up against the bush he was in. Edit. Just to clarify because of comments below. I was the police officer that arrested him. Not a Red Lobster employee.
Well golly, I sure can't find Jimmy anywhere. I guess I'll just take this bike.
The visual is hilarious. Sounds like something off kids' cartoons.
From the local newspaper. 2 young men in a pickup truck on a back road stopped a courting Amish couple in a buggy and told the couple to give them all of their money. Spoiler, the Amish don't generally have money. They do have good memories, though, and told the cops the license plate number. The inept criminals were locals, too, and should have known better than to try and rob the Amish.
If you rob the Amish, Brother Ezekiel will cram you into the butter churner and annihilate you.
We had an inmate that would constantly call Crime Stoppers on his contraband cell phone and try to get them to give him the reward if he confessed to his crimes. He did this several times a month. He's just trying to work both ends of that deal. Nothing wrong there _
What's a Crime Stopper?
Not a cop myself, but about 10 years ago I got held up and robbed by a group of 3 guys with knives. All they wanted was the money in my wallet. So me being the smart guy not wanting to mess with knives just obliged. At the end of the ordeal he put the knife to my throat and said, "If you ever tell the cops my name is redacted I will slice your throat right now." So I went home, called the cops, told them where it happened and gave them the name the guy told me. The name instantly rung a bell with them since the guy had come into contact with the police in the past. Cops went to the spot where I was robbed and they were laying in ambush for a new guy to appear. They could instantly identify the guy, he was arrested, and that's about it. Happened in the Netherlands. Don't know his sentence or anything.
Not me, but my buddy is a cop and told me about this one kid in particular he dealt with for years. No cleverness to him. Numerous times he walked into his neighbor's garage in broad daylight and just stole his bike. Constantly stole from stores in plain view. Even the occasional minor assault or burglary. He always got caught. Like had never gotten away with any of his hundreds of crimes, but because he was a minor there were never any real repercussions. A few days before he turned 18, my friend and another officer went to his house to basically remind him that if he does anything after that he will face real punishment as an adult and he'll get 0 breaks. Like a last-ditch effort to be helpful. 2 days after his 18th birthday he's caught committing an armed robbery. Pretty sure he's doing a few decades behind bars.
Something isn't clicking in his head.
Ex-Leo here. So I get a call a couple years ago to a lady who says she is being threatened. I respond to a very rural area and she shows me her cell phone and it is a chain mail text from an unknown number. The message showed a picture of a girl with a gag in her mouth and she is looking at the camera and holding a sign with both hands that said help. The text of the message stated she was in Amsterdam and she didn't forward the text to 10 people and look what happened to her. I explained to the lady that it was a hoax and explained what a chain mail message was. She refused to believe me and became argumentative. When I offered to contact Interpol for her, she did not know what that was. That wasn't good enough, and just kept saying that girl needed help. I asked her if she knew the girl and she said no, and she believed the girl tried to send her the message using any made-up numbers she could instead of contacting anybody she knew. My reasoning was once again shot down.
And she said again that the girl needed her help.
I remember driving away and the lady screaming at me that I needed to help that girl. I responded with a single no over my PA as I quickly sped away. Both of those women were never heard from again. Now forward to 10 people.
Not a cop, but worked at a 7-Eleven in a rough part of Chicago. Had 2 guys come in and ask for 2 bottles of Grey Goose. I asked for their IDs.
They handed him over, and I grabbed the 2 bottles from behind the counter to ring him up. They proceeded to grab the bottles and book it out of there, leaving their IDs on the counter. I called the police. They came in asking for a description of the thieves and I handed them the IDs.
Cops were in disbelief at the stupidity.
Left and went to the address on one of the IDs that was about 2 blocks
away. About 15 minutes later they walked in with the 2 guys and bottles of Grey Goose. Poor guys didn't even have a chance to open them.
I confirmed it was them.
Didn't press charges. Took the bottles of Grey Goose back and went on with my overnight shift.
911. How can I help? Yeah, 911. This is 711.
Have a family member that worked in the court system. The amount of people that come in either carrying or completely out of their minds on drugs is shocking.
Y'all see the video of the dude with coke in his hat? Judge asked him to remove his cap in court. So he did. Little bag hit the floor right by his feet. Nobody saw. Nobody. Until he walked away from the stand. Of course. Then it was just sitting there in the middle of the floor. Lol.
The Amish are not to be trifled with. They can, and will, aggressively hand-carve you a set of high-quality table and chairs. They can also weld like no one's business. Beware the Amish. Edit 1. 0 questions about Amish or Mennonites? Ask a Mennonite. 1. One I would be posting on Amish. It would ruin the joke. 1. 2 obligatory thanks for the silver. Closing parenthesis dot.
Can also build the most impressive barns in 3 days flat. Smart people don't mess with the Amish. There must be some good stuff in that house. I bet no one's tried to break into that house before because the sheriff's truck is parked outside and no one's as smart as me to realize that the sheriff lives at the police station and this is a trick to stop less smart people from breaking in.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day you amazing people.